Hey friends, well, if you live on the east coast of the United States, you have most likely heard about the spotted lanternfly. These little dudes are bad, really bad. Don't let looks deceive you because they're very pretty when they spread their wings. They have red on their wings, but they are very bad. They will suck the sap out of a tree and completely kill it. Honestly, I did not think we were going to have to deal with them. I wasn't seeing any here on our property in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And then about 3 or 4 days ago, they seemed to appear all of a sudden, and there are hundreds of them. Now, two of the host trees that I know about for the spotted lanternfly is the tree of heaven, also known as paradise tree. It's a junk tree. It's an invasive tree here on the East Coast, maybe other parts of the country. But it's just a junk tree. It's no good, but that's one of their host trees. So if you have those on your property, perhaps that's drawing in the spotted lanternfly. And sadly, the other host tree that I know about, there may be others, but the two that I know about, the other one being the maple tree. And that's so sad because we have beautiful maples here in the Blue Ridge Mountains. We have 4 maple trees in our yard, and 2 of the maple trees that are in our yard are absolutely infested with the spotted lanternfly. We do have the tree of heaven here on the farm. This is a 400-acre farm, so it would be really, really hard to get rid of all of those invasive trees. We try when we can, but we just can't get rid of all of them. They multiply so quickly. But I am really concerned about the maples here in the mountains and everybody's maples here on the East Coast. So I went online just to see how I could take care of these things. I think the authorities are saying just to squish them or to stomp them. Well, when you have hundreds of them, that's almost impossible. And I'm going to show you, we're going to go spray them in just a minute. So I went online just to do some research to see what we could take care of these things with. There are several videos on YouTube that say use vinegar. Well, I would never use vinegar on a plant, a tree, anything that I wanted to keep living. I use vinegar to kill the grass and weeds in our gravel driveway. So I'm afraid that if I sprayed my maple trees with vinegar, all the foliage would die. And then, you know, when all of your foliage dies, your tree pretty much is on the way downhill a lot of times. So I would never use vinegar. I'm not sure why these folks are saying use vinegar. I just would not use that. Other folks said use neem oil, which I am not opposed to using neem oil at all. If I use neem oil, I would use the cold pressed neem oil because it's more pure. But good old Dawn dishwashing liquid is what I have decided to use. It was what I used on the initial spraying when I sprayed the hundreds. I'm literally hundreds and hundreds of these bugs. They just covered the trunk of my maple trees, and they just started hopping off. And I'll show you what they'll do when you spray them when we get to that point. But I don't use Dawn dishwashing liquid. If you do, you know, in your home, that's up to you. I don't use it. I try to use something that's more pure in our home, but I do keep Dawn on hand, and this is not an advertisement for Dawn at all, but I do keep it on hand to use. I mix up buckets of soapy water during the Japanese beetle season, or if I want to plunk off worms. I call it the picking and plunking method. I do a lot of picking and plunking, and just the soapy buckets of water with the Dawn. The Dawn seems to be the best to actually kill these Japanese beetles, kill whatever you're killing when you're just plunking them into your bucket of soapy water. So I wouldn't want to spray the foliage a ton of the tree with the Dawn because it's pretty potent. I'm not even sure what all is in here. I mean, I see all of the ingredients, but you know, Dawn really has worked for killing these bugs. So I just have a gallon sprayer here. It was an old sprayer. I don't even remember what was in it initially. It wasn't anything harmful or anything, but I wrote Dawn on it. So I fill it up to the line that they say. And you just want to slowly fill it up if you already have dish liquid solution in there, because you don't want all that bubbling and foaming. And then I just dunk some of the dish liquid in it, just, you know, that much. Is that scientific enough for you? You don't have to use, I saw one video where the person used an entire bottle, and I don't think that's necessary. So I think when you're using it, if you're finding it's not potent enough, just use a little bit more, right? I already have some soapy water mixture in here, but I need to fill it up a little bit more because it's getting empty. And you want to be careful that you don't shake it around too much. I'll show you how I shake it. I don't actually shake it. I just swish it from side to side. There was a little bit of pressure on that. Always hold it away from your face. So I'm just slowly adding water here so we don't get a ton of bubbles. This part requires patience, and if you don't do it slowly, you'll just get all this froth and bubbles and just won't be as effective. You won't have quite enough water. So now I've got the water filled up almost to this line, not quite, it's about here actually, which is all I really need right now. So now we're going to take our Dawn and we're just going to squirt a good amount in there. As I said, you definitely don't need to use the entire bottle. I'm not sure why that person did that, but you know, whatever. Anyway, so let's do a little bit more. That's good. So I just used, what is that, 1.5 inches worth of Dawn. And I already had some in there, so I'm sure it's going to be plenty potent. You always want to make sure the plunger is on really tight. If not, you'll have a lot of air and it won't pump up correctly. So now you don't want to shake it like up and down. You just want to sort of swish it so that the soap doesn't, like, again, cause all those bubbles, all that foam. So I'm just kind of swishing. Swish, swish, swish. All right, so let's go over to the 2 maple trees now and we will spray them. So we're here at one of our maples and you're seeing some photos now of them and how they kind of cluster. On this particular tree, it was just absolutely covered on Sunday. We came home from church on Sunday and I mixed up the Dawn solution and came out and sprayed them. And so now it's just very minimal, very few every day that I have to take care of. So I'm so glad that this is working, that I didn't have to resort to something harsher. There are no natural predators for the spotted lanternfly. I haven't even seen birds, you know, eating them or trying to get them. They're just like an awful phenomenon. I've also been praying over these trees. I've been praying Psalm 91, the noisome pestilence, over these trees. And so I'm just thankful that this Dawn is working. And I think it's probably going to have a minimal negative effect on our environment. And also, you know, if I watch if there's any bees flying around, I don't spray them. I'm very careful about that. When I became a certified pollinator garden, part of the questionnaire was what do you do with pests? And you know, my response was mainly I just use my hands to remove pests and plunk them into soapy water. I don't use any kind of synthetic sprays. Well, I'm saying that here I am using Dawn, but they went on to teach me about integrated pest management. And they said there are different ways. You know, of course, we want to stay away from synthetic sprays as much as possible. And they do make some sort of a really high potent synthetic sprays, and the gnats are just flying all over. That's where most of the time I'm wearing eye protection. But they do make a certain very potent synthetic spray, and I will not and do not want to resort to that. I hope I never have to. There's no way I can go to all the maples on all of the farm. I just have to really pray over them that they won't get completely destroyed. But these little things, they don't chew on the leaves. They just suck the sap out of a tree. I don't know how long it takes to kill the tree, but they will kill a tree. So that's why we just kind of keep after them, try to keep them under control. But the integrated pest management they talked about was using different methods, whether it be manual methods like hand picking, whether it be organic sprays, whether it be bringing in other beneficial predators to kill a bad predator. But as I said, these spotted lanternflies do not have any natural predators. So we have to really, you know, combat them the best way we can. Spraying them, you need to sort of beware because they will jump on you, and it takes anywhere from about 10 to 20 seconds for them to actually die. And sometimes I stomp them when they hit the ground. But when you're spraying them, they might jump on you. If you're squeamish about bugs jumping on you, we need to get over that because these things need to be taken care of. But they just pretty much stay still here during the day, and what they're doing is just sucking the sap. So I have the nozzle set on a pretty good stream here. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up when they hop off, but anyway, here's one here, and I'm just spraying him, and here's a grouping here. There's a little bee, so I'm going to shoo that bee away. And I just lost one. You see how they're hopping. Yep, there's a grouping of them right up here. Yep, there they go. Let me see if I can be brave and pick this one up. They don't hurt you, they don't bite or anything, but I'm going to show you what they look like. They are really pretty. Okay. I don't have anybody helping me film right now, but see how pretty that is? Isn't that pretty? Don't let looks deceive you, right? They're bad. Oh, he wants to hop. Okay, I'm going to squish this one. I'm going to stomp it. He's already dead, but I'm going to stomp it. Try to hop at me, will ya? I'll stomp you. All right, let's see if we can find any others. There goes hopping. I'm going to spray him again, make sure. And they're all over the ground here where I have killed them. Woo! Another good thing about using this Dawn is I'm glad that it won't actually harm me, you know, as far as I know, because it's not that much getting on me, but he's crawling on a leaf, but they don't eat the leaves. They just suck the sap. So they're not very far up there. They haven't gone far up, which I'm glad. Oh, that one was really, he was working on the tree, on the sap right there. So compared to how they were on Sunday, and I didn't take a picture or anything, you'll just have to take my word for it. But I mean, it was literally hundreds and hundreds of them. And so I'm so pleased that this is working. Now it's just, as I said, minimal. And I just come out here every day and spray the ones that are kind of hanging around. That one already died in place. Some of the leaves are already starting to turn on the maples, so it would be so sad to lose these. I'm really glad this is working and that we've found a solution that's pretty safe to take care of these bugs. And anyway, I hope this video has not bored you too awfully much and maybe been helpful if you are dealing with these bugs. So until next time, friends, I really appreciate your support. We'll see you soon. Happy gardening. Bye-bye. Just a bit of a disclaimer here. Obviously, we do not know the long-term effects of the spotted lanternfly because it hasn't been around that long on in this part of the country. And also, I do not know the long-term effects of using Dawn dish soap on trees or shrubs or anything like that. I was careful not to spray the foliage. Obviously, some overspray got on some of the foliage, but I mainly sprayed at the trunk of the tree where the lanternfly is. So please use your own judgment. Please do your own research. I'm just basically telling you what I did and what is working so far to combat these terrible bugs.